As the sun slowly rises in the east, we find the daily Planet 5D. This is episode number 34. What about that C100? Hey everyone, this is Planet Mitch from planet5d.com, sitting on my bouncy chair, and I was bouncing. You caught me. It's actually a ball, an exercise ball, in case you wanted to know. I quit using a chair a long time ago, but that's a whole nother story. So, today, I recorded this today. Of course, you don't know what today is, do you? Today, Canon announced the C100, and they also announced the shipping date for the C500, which previously was announced just before NAB. The C100 is an interesting baby brother to the C300, and we're going to get our C's and our hundreds mixed up here pretty soon, I'm sure. The C100 has some basic assets, little differences, but let me run through them. Different than the C300 and the C500. Obviously, we're not buying the C500, right? I'm not. It's $30,000. Have you got that kind of cash? If so, let's talk. The C300 lists. That was going to be retails and lists, which came out. The funny word. About $15,000, and I'm sure you can get it for less than that, depending upon your dealer. But the brand new C100 list price is $7,999. That's quite a few, right? I certainly can't afford it yet. If you want to donate to my Kickstarter project to fund Planet Mitch getting the C100. Anyway, you can also pre-order the C100 right now through B&H Photo by going to blog.planet5d.com/C100. Yes, Planet 5D does get an affiliate commission. C100 has these assets as compared to the C300. First of all, it's 15% smaller. They've trimmed the body down a little bit by putting in two SD cards. Big features are that this is the very first or the lowest priced camera that Canon has that does full HDMI out uncompressed. So if you want to attach it to an external recorder, you can record something like 60 minutes at a time. Plus it's 422 or 420. We haven't quite yet figured out because the spec sheet on the Canon website says 422 and the press release said 420. So there's a little debate over which number is accurate, and I haven't gotten any answer back from Canon yet about that. Anyway, so there's some good high quality output coming from this beast. Interesting other features, it has an auto iris function. It also has a one-shot autofocus, and I'm assuming that's kind of like the 5D Mark III and the 5D Mark II in live view, and the 5D Mark II obviously had to flip up the mirror and do the focusing and then flip the mirror back down. We're going to make an obvious statement here. The C100 doesn't have a mirror, but it does use EF mount only, so it's only going to use EF mount lenses, EF lenses. There is no Panavision mount, PL mount version of this. So you're going to be quote-unquote limited to which lenses you can use. But if you're using the EF mount lenses, then you got quite a few to pick from. I've forgotten. They've got like 70. And let's not forget they announced several new lenses today, but that's a whole other story, which I'm not going to dive into at this point. You can read the press release. So the autofocus, I'm assuming that it's very much like the current DSLRs where you have to push a button, it focuses before you press record. I don't imagine that they're going to allow you to press that button while recording. It's not detailed in the press release or in any of the specs I've seen, but my assumption is they're going to do it just like the other cameras, and it's going to be a one-time thing before you start shooting, which would give you the advantage of being a one-man band. Maybe you don't have to necessarily worry about the focus so much, or you can get some of the little follow focus things, which we covered in previous episode. Although if you're spending $7,000 for $8,000 for the camera, are you going to be using a $30 simple follow focus? Maybe you would. I don't know. The HDMI port is a locking port, so it firmly grips onto that little sucker and won't let it go, which is the first for any of the Canon cameras. So it's got several firsts on it, like the one-button autofocus, the push auto iris, and the locking HDMI. It also is the first camera that Canon has. I don't know about any other camera out there, because somebody will always write in and say, well, the XYZ camera does that. This is the first camera that will write to both SD cards simultaneously, so you can get a backup. What we don't know yet is whether you can record to the SD card and run through the HDMI out. I think you probably can, but we haven't found that out yet. It does have a new Digic DV3 image processor. I don't recall seeing that before. Although, I didn't mention this, it is the same sensor as the C300 and the C500. So you're going to get an awesome image. It's going to be much better than the HDSLRs, but of course the HDSLRs are much cheaper, right? So, and let's not forget either that it's got AV-CHD as its codec. Now that's when you're writing to the SD cards. When you're going out to through the HDMI, you can record it however the recorder will do, I'm pretty sure. Like the Atomos Ninja records in ProRes this or that or whatever. And lastly, it's got dual XLR inputs, built-in ND filters. I forgot that one. You can see I'm looking down at my list. Linear PCM 2-channel audio or Dolby Digital 2-channel audio. And that's the first time I recall seeing Dolby on any of the cameras, which is rather interesting. Alright, so what's the nutshell here? Does this absolutely kill DSLRs? If you read Vincent Laforet's post this morning, he's kind of thinking that maybe people are going to be buying the C100 and not doing HDSLRs anymore. His point being that the DSLRs usually require some rigging, and you usually, in his estimation, spend $2,000 to $4,000 on additional rigging stuff. And so, you know, monitor and rig or cage, external recorder. Of course, with the Canons, you can't get good, clean HDMI out. But anyway, so he figures you're going to spend some extra bucks. So if you're spending $3,000, $3,500 for the 5D Mark III, plus another $2,000 to $4,000 on rigging, then you're getting pretty close to the $8,000 of the C100. You still may have to buy some rigging for the C100, you know, like maybe a follow focus and a rail system and maybe a matte box. I don't know. You don't have to buy the ND filters and stuff. So there are definitely some trade-offs. You could theoretically buy a C100 and use the 5D Mark III or the T4i as a B camera, and they'll still play really well together. I don't think the HDSLRs are going to run away. Because there's still a huge market for people wanting to do simple things with the small camera. It's got, it is small, it's a small form factor, and holy cow, I've already gone on and rambled about this for 9 minutes. So I really don't expect this is going to kill the HDSLRs. I'd love to hear your feedback. Please don't be shy about commenting. Don't be shy about posting a video response if you want to on YouTube. Don't forget you can listen to these podcasts on audio only at blog.planet5d.com/A34. I think this is episode 34. I think we'll just call it 34 and be done with it, just in case. I don't think I said that at the beginning. So let me know what your thoughts are. I know there are a lot of people that are not thrilled with the AV CHD codec. They have to transcode in order to get that editable in most editors. I think Premiere, I don't currently use Premiere, but people have told me that Premiere will ingest that without having to transcode. Final Cut Pro probably has to do a transcode. So people are commenting on Twitter this morning that the codec will require extra workflow issues. So they're not overly thrilled with that. But if you're spending $8,000 on the camera and you're getting the clean HDMI output, it seems to me that if you spend $3,000 to $1,000, depending upon which recorder you buy, I think I'd probably just slap a recorder on the thing and be getting that higher resolution, higher quality output without the compression, and run through that route as opposed to using the SD card. So again, that's going to cost you another $500 or $1,000, so you're adding onto your cost, and so maybe you're going to spend over $10,000 total on the C100. But that seems to be a pretty snazzy little rig. It's a great step. You don't necessarily need everything that the C300 has. So I think it's a great medium step between the C300 and the 5D Mark III and the 1DX. And so, and heck, the 1DX is almost the same price, isn't it? So what are your thoughts? Go ahead and let me know. Sound off in the comments on the blog post at blog.planet5d.com/D34. Post comments wherever you want to post them. But let me know what you think. Are you going to buy the C100? If so, please buy it through one of my links. blog.planet5d.com/C100. I think it's a great little camera. Obviously, we have to sit down and play with it. Using a camera and just purely analyzing it based on specs is not always necessarily the best thing. But, and we still haven't talked about the Blackmagic Cinema camera yet in relation to this either. So it'd be very interesting to do comparisons side by side of those. And of course, we've got the whole gamut of the FS100 and all the other video cameras that have come out lately. So incredibly interesting times, don't you think? Let us know what you think at planet5d.com, and thanks for watching our daily Planet 5D.